Welcome to World Information HD, the channel where knowledge meets discovery and every coin tells a story of hidden fortune. In today's video, we're revealing the top 5 most valuable and rare USA Lincoln wheat pennies that could be worth millions of dollars. These tiny copper treasures, often found hiding in old drawers or change jars, have shocked collectors around the world with their unbelievable auction prices. Stay tuned till the end. You might just find out that one of these rare pennies could be sitting right in your pocket right now. Today, we're diving deep into the world of numismatics once again, uncovering the secrets behind a humble yet incredibly fascinating coin from the past, the 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary cent you could find at the bottom of your drawer or in a forgotten jar of change, but appearances can be deceiving. Some of these small copper treasures have shocked collectors and historians alike with their surprising value, intriguing minting history, and mysterious errors that make them worth far more than just a single cent. Let's go back to the early 1940s, a time when the United States was recovering from the Great Depression and inching toward the global conflict of World War II. The Lincoln wheat penny had already been in circulation for over 30 years. Originally introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th birthday of President Abraham Lincoln. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse, or front, of the coin displays Lincoln's noble profile, while the reverse side features 2 stalks of wheat framing the words, 1 cent. This simple yet elegant design symbolized America's prosperity, unity, and growth, even during hard times. Now, in 1940, the U.S. Mint struck over 500 million Lincoln wheat pennies. Most were minted in Philadelphia, which is why many of these coins bear no mint mark under the date. This no mint mark version is what we're focusing on today, the 1940 Philadelphia Lincoln wheat penny. Because so many were produced, millions circulated widely for decades. You could have seen one in a grocery store cashier's drawer, a farmer's pocket, or a child's piggy bank. Yet, despite their abundance, not all 1940 pennies were created equal. Tiny differences, minute minting variations, and special errors have made certain specimens worth thousands upon thousands of dollars today. The 1940 no-mint mark penny is composed of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving it that deep reddish-brown hue collectors adore. Its diameter is 19 millimeters, and it weighs about 3.11 grams. Although that may seem insignificant, condition, rarity, and unique die errors make all the difference between a common penny and a fortune. The more you know about the coin's features, the better you can identify whether that old penny you've had for years might actually be worth a small treasure. Let's start with condition. Coin collectors grade coins on a scale from good to mint state. Circulated 1940 pennies that have been worn down by years of handling might only be worth a few cents. But an uncirculated coin, one that has never been used, can be a completely different story. If your 1940 penny still has its original luster, sharp details on Lincoln's hair and beard, and crisp wheat lines on the reverse, you may already be holding something valuable. Even a small scratch can change its grade, so condition truly is everything. But the real excitement begins when we talk about errors. The mistakes that occurred during the minting process that turn ordinary coins into extraordinary finds. Some 1940 no-mint mark pennies have double die errors, where the design elements appear slightly doubled. This effect is most often noticeable in the date, the word liberty, or the motto, "In God We Trust." Collectors love these double die errors because they're visible, rare, and always in demand. A sharp double die can easily multiply the value of a 1940 penny many times over. Other known errors include off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the coin wasn't properly aligned when struck. There are also repunched mint marks, though rarer for the no-mint mark Philadelphia coins, die cracks, and even lamination errors where the metal surface peels slightly due to impurities in the alloy. Each of these imperfections makes the coin unique, and uniqueness is what collectors pay top dollar for. Now, let's dive deeper into the historical significance. The year 1940 marked the beginning of an era where America was transitioning from hardship to hope. Copper was still widely available, but just 2 years later, in 1942, the U.S. government began conserving it for war materials. By 1943, the mint even switched to zinc-coated steel pennies to save copper for bullets and wire. That means the 1940 penny represents the end of an era, one of the last true copper cents before wartime restrictions changed the composition forever. Holding a 1940 penny in your hand is like holding a piece of history from just before the storm of World War II. For coin collectors, provenance and backstory can elevate the value of a coin beyond its metal and design. Many 1940 pennies that remain in pristine condition today were likely saved intentionally by people who collected coins as a hobby or by accident, storing them away in jars, never realizing they'd one day be prized possessions. Some of these coins found their way into collections spanning generations, passed down as family heirlooms, while others remained hidden until recently rediscovered. If you're lucky enough to find a 1940 penny in your change today, take a closer look. Examine it under good light or a magnifying glass. Is there a doubling in the lettering? Is the color bright red, reddish brown, or dark brown? The red designation, meaning the coin has kept its original copper shine, is especially valuable to collectors. In the numismatic world, a bright red uncirculated 1940 Lincoln penny is a sight to behold. According to professional grading standards, a coin in MS-60 to MS-65 grade, mint state, could fetch anywhere from a few dollars to hundreds depending on its luster and strike. But once you enter the MS-67 or higher range, the value climbs dramatically. These are coins with nearly flawless surfaces, sharp definition, and eye-catching brilliance. They're rare, not because few were made, but because few survived decades of handling without a single blemish. And now, we reach the moment collectors dream about, the extreme end of the value spectrum. There have been verified auction records where a 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in immaculate condition has sold for an astounding amount. These record-breaking coins are the best of the best, preserved like time capsules from a bygone era. Experts believe that only a handful of such perfect examples exist today. What's fascinating is that many of these valuable pennies were once overlooked. Some were found in old roll collections, estate boxes, or even dusty attic jars. Stories abound of people discovering that their pocket change held an unexpected treasure worth a small fortune. This is why coin enthusiasts always say, never underestimate the power of a penny. If you're wondering how to check the value of your 1940 no-mint mark penny, there are a few steps. First, assess its condition. If it's worn and brown, it may hold sentimental more than monetary value. But if it's shiny, lustrous, and free from scratches or discoloration, it's worth taking to a professional grading service such as PCGS or NGC. These organizations authenticate, grade, and encapsulate coins in protective holders, ensuring their value is preserved and recognized by buyers and auction houses worldwide. Next, check for die varieties. Use a jeweler's loupe to look closely at the date, model, and lettering. Even a subtle doubling or misalignment could mean you have a rare variety worth hundreds, or even thousands. Finally, stay updated with auction trends. Coin prices can fluctuate based on demand and availability. A coin that sold for a few $100s 10 years ago might fetch several thousand today. Beyond monetary value, the 1940 penny remains a cherished artifact of American history. It connects generations, grandparents who once used them to buy candy, parents who passed them to their children for luck, and collectors today who see them as treasures of craftsmanship and legacy. Every tiny scratch, every mark tells a story, from the moment it left the Philadelphia Mint to the countless hands it may have passed through. So, the next time you come across an old penny, don't just toss it aside. Take a closer look. You might be holding a piece of history, a coin that has traveled through time, survived wars, recessions, and generations, and still carries the face of one of America's greatest presidents. And now, the part you've been waiting for. The record-breaking value of the rarest, most pristine 1940 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny ever sold. Welcome to World Information HD channel, your trusted source for discovering rare, valuable, and hidden treasures among U.S. coins that could make you a fortune today. In this video, we're diving deep into one of the most fascinating coins ever minted in the history of American currency, the United States of America 1950 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny. You might have one sitting unnoticed in your old coin jar, tucked away in a drawer, or even resting inside a family collection passed down for decades. But what if I told you this humble little 1-cent coin could be worth thousands of dollars today? Let's explore the remarkable story, background, errors, and reasons behind its incredible value. To begin, let's step back into the mid-20th century, the year 1950. The world was recovering from the aftershocks of World War II, and America was entering an era of prosperity and modernization. Cars were becoming common, televisions were emerging in homes, and coin collecting was slowly gaining popularity among everyday citizens. At the time, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia was busy striking millions of Lincoln wheat pennies, continuing the iconic design first introduced in 1909. The 1950 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny is one of those coins, simple, copper-colored, and seemingly ordinary. But what lies beneath its surface is a story of rarity, condition, and the historical significance that now makes it one of the most desirable coins for collectors across the globe. The coin itself features the timeless portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner. His face appears strong and dignified, representing American unity and resilience. Above his head reads the famous motto, "In God We Trust," while the word "Liberty" sits to the left, and the date, 1950, rests proudly to the right. The absence of a mint mark under the date tells us this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. On the reverse side, you'll find the two classic wheat stalks curling inward, framing the inscriptions, 1 cent, and United States of America, with the phrase, E pluribus unum, at the top. This beautiful simplicity has helped make the wheat penny series one of the most collected in U.S. history. Now, here's where it becomes interesting. While millions of 1950 Lincoln cents were produced, only a small fraction survived in pristine condition. Most circulated heavily, scratched and worn down by decades of use in daily commerce. Finding a coin that has retained its original luster, sharp details, and unblemished surfaces from over 70 years ago is no easy task. And it's exactly that rarity of condition that drives collectors wild. The 1950 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny becomes especially valuable when it's found in mint state, untouched by time, showing bright copper-red color, and displaying no signs of wear on Lincoln's cheek, hair, or coat. But there's more. Some of the most valuable 1950 no mint mark pennies are those with unique minting errors, small mistakes that occurred during production. These errors, which once went unnoticed by the public, are now treasures in the world of numismatics. Double die obverse, where the lettering or date appears doubled, are highly sought after. Off-center strikes, die cracks, repunched dates, or planchet flaws can also turn an ordinary penny into a collector's dream. Even slight misalignments or color variations due to improper alloy mixing during the minting process can catch the eye of an experienced collector. The composition of the 1950 penny is another fascinating aspect of its history. These coins were struck in a bronze alloy consisting of 95% copper and 5% tin and zinc, giving them their warm reddish-brown tone. Each coin weighs about 3.11 grams and measures 19 millimeters in diameter. Though the composition might seem ordinary, it represents the last decades before the U.S. Mint shifted toward cheaper metals in the 1980s due to rising copper prices. That makes early copper wheat pennies like this one even more nostalgic and valuable to enthusiasts today. The Philadelphia Mint struck around 272 million Lincoln pennies in 1950, a seemingly large number. However, survival rates of uncirculated examples are drastically lower. Over time, countless coins were melted, lost, or damaged. What remains are only a few exceptional specimens that have been carefully preserved by collectors or accidentally forgotten in old coin rolls for generations. When one of these coins appears at auction in near-perfect condition, it draws immediate attention and fierce bidding wars from collectors around the world. Collectors today often judge the quality of a 1950 no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny by its color and surface preservation. Grading agencies such as PCGS or NGC categorize them as red, RD, red-brown, RB, or brown, BN, based on the remaining copper shine. The more original red brilliance the coin retains, the higher its value climbs. For example, a coin graded mint state 67 red is considered extremely rare and visually stunning. Its glossy copper luster and razor-sharp details make it look almost freshly minted even after 7 decades. Now imagine holding such a coin in your hand. The weight of history, the story of a nation in progress, and the possibility of immense value all in one small piece of metal. For many collectors, the allure of this coin isn't just in its price tag but in the connection it offers to America's past. It represents a time when coins were carefully crafted and designed to last, when every cent carried true value and artistry. Let's also not forget how coin collecting has changed over the decades. In the 1950s, young enthusiasts would search their pocket change or visit local banks to collect wee pennies. They'd store them in blue Whitman folders, hoping to complete a full set of dates and mint marks. Today, that same hobby has transformed into a global market where a single high-grade coin can sell for thousands at auctions or online platforms like eBay and Heritage Auctions. The 1950 no-mint mark wee penny remains one of the standout pieces in this evolution, often serving as a prize find for both beginners and experts. When we talk about value, we're not just speaking of money. Value comes from condition, rarity, and demand, 3 forces that drive the price of any collectible. If your 1950 penny shows sharp definition on Lincoln's hair, strong wheat lines on the reverse, and no signs of wear, you might already be holding something extraordinary. Combine that with a brilliant copper-red surface and perhaps a unique minting error, and your coin's potential skyrockets. What truly fascinates collectors is how small differences in condition can lead to massive differences in price. For example, a circulated 1950 no-mint mark penny might be worth just a few cents. But if it's uncirculated, graded highly, and retains that beautiful reddish hue, it can climb rapidly in value. Add a rare die error or proof-like surface, and the coin becomes the star of any collection. This is why so many numismatists dedicate hours examining coins under magnification, searching for these subtle variations that can change everything. It's also worth noting that coins like this are not just financial assets, but pieces of living history. Each penny from 1950 has traveled through decades, passing hands during the Korean War era, through the Civil Rights Movement, through America's rise as a global power. Each scratch and shine tells a story of time, use, and survival. To own one in pristine form is to hold something that defied that passage of time, preserved against all odds. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny, take a moment before spending it or tossing it aside. Look closely, inspect the details, the color, and the surfaces. That old copper coin could be more than just a piece of change. It might be your ticket to owning a truly valuable relic of American history. Many collectors dream of finding such coins hidden in old boxes, drawers, or coin jars. Sometimes, the most valuable treasures come from unexpected places, inherited collections, estate sales, or even dusty rolls of pennies sitting forgotten in a closet. The 1950 Lincoln wheat penny is one such hidden gem, and countless stories exist of people discovering their fortune in what seemed like an ordinary coin. In the modern coin market, certified examples of this coin in top mint state condition are fetching astonishing prices at auction. Its rarity and perfect preservation, its beautiful design, and its nostalgic history make it an undeniable centerpiece in American numismatics. Every collector who studies or owns one knows they're holding not just copper, but a piece of national heritage, an emblem of craftsmanship, perseverance, and timeless value. And now, the question everyone asks, just how much can a 1950 no-mint mark Lincoln wheat penny be worth? After all, the value depends on the condition, rarity, and demand. Welcome back to the World Information HD channel, your trusted source for revealing the most valuable coins hiding right in your pocket change. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most intriguing coins of mid-20th century America, the 1952 Lincoln wheat penny. This small copper coin may look ordinary at first glance, but what if we told you that one of these could be worth thousands of dollars depending on its condition, minting errors, and rarity? So sit back, because this story of copper, craftsmanship, and hidden fortune is going to surprise you. The year 1952 was a pivotal time in U.S. history. Post-World War II optimism was in full swing, the economy was growing, and coins like the Lincoln wheat penny were an everyday necessity in American life. The Denver Mint, represented by the small D mint mark just below the date on this penny, was one of the busiest mints during that era. Millions of coins were produced each month, flooding the nation's pockets and cash registers. But among the many, there were a few special pennies that would stand out for their perfection, rarity, or mysterious minting quirks, and that's where collectors' fascination begins. The 1952 D Lincoln wheat penny was struck primarily in copper, with a small percentage of zinc and tin, following the typical composition used in pennies before the shift to zinc-based coins in 1982. It features the classic portrait of Abraham Lincoln designed by Victor David Brenner, a design first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. The reverse side displays two wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, a design that has since become iconic in American coinage history and beloved by collectors worldwide. Now, while over 746 million 1952 D pennies were minted, making it a relatively common coin in circulation, condition, preservation, and certain unique errors can dramatically affect value. Most of these pennies were used heavily in daily transactions, showing significant wear and losing their original luster. However, a small number of these coins were either saved in pristine condition or minted with exceptional precision, and those are the coins that hold tremendous value today. Collectors categorize coins based on their condition using a grading scale ranging from good to mint state. A 1952 D penny found in good condition, worn from years of handling, may only be worth a few cents. However, a coin that was preserved carefully and remains in brilliant uncirculated condition, showing no signs of wear and still shining with that original red copper glow, can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. These are typically coins graded between MS-65 and MS-67 by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC. But beyond just the shine and sharpness of the details, certain rare varieties and minting errors make some 1952 D wheat pennies stand out even more. One of the most popular error types among collectors is the repunched mint mark, where the small d below the date was stamped twice by mistake during production. These repunched D varieties can sometimes show a shadow or doubling effect around the mint mark, making them very collectible. Depending on the clarity and positioning of the repunch, values can increase dramatically. There are also examples of off-center strikes, die cracks, and even double die obverse or reverse varieties, although the 1952 D is not particularly known for dramatic double dies like some other dates. Still, when one appears, it can fetch impressive prices. A coin showing any of these rare features, coupled with an uncirculated grade, becomes a true treasure for numismatists. People who study and collect coins. Let's explore a bit more about how such coins achieve their incredible value. Imagine finding an old penny in your grandfather's coin jar, only to realize it has never been circulated, its color still glowing red like the day it left the Denver Mint. You might hold in your hand a coin that was struck over 70 years ago but still looks brand new. The rarity of that condition is what drives collectors to pay such high prices. The fewer pristine examples that remain, the more desirable they become. Furthermore, demand for wheat pennies continues to rise as they symbolize a golden age of American coinage, a time when coins were made of real metal, struck with care, and carried historical significance. Collectors love building full wheat penny sets, covering all years from 1909 to 1958, and the 1952 D plays an important role in that series. Although not as rare as early teens dates or the famous 1909 SVDB penny, a high-grade 1952 D can still be a key coin for completing collections in top condition. What adds even more charm to the 1952 D penny is its connection to the post-war era, a time of new beginnings and growth for America. The people using these coins were buying their first televisions, new cars, and suburban homes. These pennies jingled in the pockets of soldiers returning from Korea, children buying their first comic books, and families saving change in glass jars. Every one of these coins carries a piece of that mid-century story, a silent witness to history. Today, when collectors hold a 1952 D Lincoln wheat penny, they're not just holding metal, They're holding a fragment of America's past. Let's talk about how to identify if your penny could be worth more than its face value. First, always start with the basics. Look under the date. Does your penny have a clear D mint mark below 1952? If yes, you have the Denver Mint version. Next, examine the coin under good lighting or with a magnifying glass. Does the mint mark look doubled or slightly misplaced? That could be a repunched mint mark. Are there any unusual cracks or doubling on the numbers or letters? That could be a minting error. Check the color of your coin too. If it has retained its bright red tone without turning brown, that's a strong indicator it's been well preserved. Condition is everything. A heavily worn penny will always have minimal value beyond its copper content, but one that's sharp, detailed, and untouched by time can rise in value sharply. That's why collectors often send their best coins to be professionally graded. A coin graded MS67 or higher can bring astonishing returns at auction, especially when buyers compete for the finest known examples. In fact, over the years, some rare high-grade 1952 Dewey pennies have made headlines in the coin world. Auction houses like Heritage and Stack's Bowers have seen bidders battle over near-perfect examples with intense enthusiasm. The reason is simple. While the mintage was high, survival in flawless condition is extremely low. Out of the hundreds of millions minted, only a handful have been preserved with perfect surfaces and full red color after decades of oxidation. That's what makes them so valuable. Now, let's imagine how such a coin could have survived. Perhaps someone in 1952 received a brand new roll of pennies from the bank, noticed their shine, and tucked them away in a drawer, never realizing that simple act of curiosity would preserve them for generations. Decades later, that forgotten roll could reveal coins worth thousands each, untouched by time, still gleaming with their copper glow. Stories like these make the world of coin collecting so thrilling, because the next treasure might still be sitting in someone's attic, waiting to be found. Collectors today hunt tirelessly for these rare gems, checking every penny they come across, searching coin rolls, estate sales, and even flea markets. And sometimes, fortune smiles upon those who pay attention to the smallest details. Because in the world of numismatics, one small letter, one minting error, or one preserved shine can mean the difference between a 1-cent coin and a small fortune. So, if you happen to have a 1952 D Lincoln Wheat penny lying around, it's time to take a closer look. Clean lighting, magnification, and patience are your best tools. But remember, never clean a coin with chemicals or abrasives. Cleaning can damage its surface and drastically reduce its value. Natural toning is perfectly fine, and collectors prefer original coins that have not been altered. Before we reveal the potential value of the rarest 1952 Dewey penny, here's something fascinating. Many people assume that only coins with major visible errors or gold-like shine can be valuable. But that's not always true. Sometimes, it's the subtle variations, such as slight doubling, unusual die marks, or a stronger strike, that can set a coin apart from millions of others. Coin collecting is a mix of science, art, and luck, and every collector dreams of finding that perfect penny. After years of research and numerous auction records, one extraordinary 1952 D Lincoln Wheat penny, preserved in remarkable condition and graded at the